the far left, the woke left, the wokey wokey, leftity, whatever the hell you want to call them, demon, whatever, right? I've recognized something about these individuals, especially during the past week after the 2024 election, where people have been getting death threats from the left. They've been getting, threats on their children's lives. They've been getting wishes of grape, like the most heinous sorts of messages that I've seen. And this isn't a few here and there. This is hundreds of people. I've literally had posts that have gone viral on TikTok where people are telling their stories by the hundreds of how they're being abused, assaulted verbally. There's even this movement now where they're trying to poison men and those who, voted for Trump. It's just become ridiculous. But when I started seeing this backlash, when I lost 1,500 followers on Instagram within 72 hours, I realized that, we're dealing with something much deeper here. This has little to do with quote unquote politics and just baseline ideology and everything to do with psychosis. I continue to say mental illness, not to be insulting, but it's genuinely mental illness or a personality disorder. I recognize narcissism in these individuals. A deep-seated narcissism. This was the party of acceptance and inclusivity until they did not get their way. All of a sudden, all hell broke loose and they have lost their damn minds. And so I want to get into this list for us to be able to recognize the signs. What are we looking at? What are we dealing with here? And then I'll give my conclusion. So this is a list of the signs of a covert narcissist. So if you don't know what a covert narcissist is, it's essentially covert meaning hidden, right? Or hidden in plain sight, as opposed to overt. When we oftentimes think of narcissism, we think of, puffed out chest. I'm better than everybody, beating on my chest like a gorilla. When in more cases than not, oftentimes a narcissist is going to be covert. Most narcissists, they say 1 out of every 6 people is a narcissist, I guess. And it's probably hyperinflated at this point in history because of the culture that we're promoting. But nevertheless, these are the characteristics of covert narcissism, and I'll do a little parallel with what's going on right now with the far left. So without further ado, let's get into it. Number 1 is passive-aggressive behavior. So we've seen that throughout time where there is, they want to lash out. Some do outwardly lash out, but many of them have this condescending spirit about them. They have this, sense of they're better than you. And so they want to seem righteous and morally above everybody else, but truly it's resentment. Truly, there's a lot of anger and hatred with them, and so it manifests as passive aggressiveness. Number 2 is grandiose fantasies. They believe themselves to be better than everybody else. They believe themselves to be on this hierarchy of virtue, right? AKA the virtue signaling that is done. Number 3 is exaggerated sense of self. So they view themselves as like the savior of the world. I'm going out here and I'm saving everybody. Can't clean their damn house, their apartment, but they're going out there to save the world from all its ills and all its thrills. Number 4 is manipulative. This one is straightforward. They will use any sort of tactic to manipulate you into believing what they believe or to stop believing what you believe. They will manipulate you by trying to cancel you, trying to eradicate you, trying to hurt you in different ways. Saying anything. I've seen, again, people get threats put on their babies' lives. People wishing actual assault on others. It's disgusting, it's vile, it's narcissism, it's demonic. Number 5 is hypersensitive. That one is super simple. Y'all have seen the videos already. The deep levels of sensitivity is unprecedented. Next, we have tendency to hold grudges, cutting family members off because of a difference in opinion. I've heard mothers have daughters, aunties have nieces, grandchildren have grandmothers. I've heard it all at this point. People getting cut all the way off. Family members want nothing to do with them based upon a vote. Tendency to hold grudges. I said that one already. Blaming and shaming. Blame. Everything is victim, victim, victim. Everybody else is the problem. Everybody else is the problem. Victim, victim, victim. Me, I have nothing to do with the outcomes of my life. It's all everybody else's fault. And of course, shaming. How dare you, you racist. I've been called a racist more times in the last 3 days than my entire life combined. Then I probably even heard the word. Self-hating, coon, Sambo, Uncle Tom, the regular degler ones. Slight work. So they will shame you into their belief system as well. And if that doesn't work, then they just get to, blaming in essence. Feeling deeply misunderstood. Oh, nobody understands me. I'm all by myself. I'm all alone. Nobody gets it. In truth, they're in obviously delusion, and their delusion is a protective mechanism. Like they're using the woke ideology as a means to cover up their narcissism. It's not the other way around. Hypersensitive to criticism, self-explanatory. Depressive symptoms. Yeah. So there's studies that say that far leftist in it's not to say that there aren't any, people in the middle and the right who are mentally ill, but that mental illness is rampant within the far left. And you can see this. It's clear as day. They can see this, right? Even a Democrat who is like logic minded, you can see that there is a level of mental illness with individuals who literally want to take people's lives based upon an opinion. Let's see. Next, we have they put themselves down. So they are, again, these are self-loathing individuals. These are self-hating, self-deprecating. They believe that they're not worthy, undeserving. And so they project this image outwardly, essentially to protect that fragile ego of theirs. Intense relationship dynamics. Yeah. So it's hot and cold. It's yes and no. They swing up, they swing down, they swing high, they swing low, right? Swing low, sweet chariot. They have these manic type of relationships where you're good with them one day and all of a sudden you are no longer part of their life. And those of you who've been getting cut off by family members due to your, political stance, let them go. Let them walk away. Let them do their thing. You'll be perfectly fine. Them, not so much because they weren't to begin with. Next, we have avoidance. So yes, the escapism, the running from, the evasion of truth. That is pretty self-explanatory. Envy. Envy is a huge one. This one is one of the most kind of subtle, nuanced ones because envy is a direct result of a belief that you're not able to, you're incompetent, or, don't have the capability of. And so you feel that I want what everybody else has, or jealousy, which is I don't want you to have what you have. And so that comes as a direct reflection of that low level of self, that insecure projection of self. Next, we have feelings of disregard towards others. So again, they disregard because they have this false sense of, my ideology is greater than yours or whatever. It's a self-deprecating. Again, a person who has to tear another down is one who already feels low. So next, we have lack of empathy. So these people purport themselves to be the most empathetic, the most sensitive, the most caring, the most loving. When their true colors are shown, they're the most demonic. They're the most, this only way I can describe it is demonic. It's demon energy, right? So they lack true empathy. They know how to fake it in some cases, but they don't actually have it in truth. Next, we have a need for excessive admiration. So they're always playing the victim game. Oh, I'm just the greatest victim. I'm a black, trans, bands, hands, tans, sands, fans, lands, like all these different mechanisms to get themselves some attention from those who buy into their delusions of grandeur. Next, we have gaslighting. This is one of the most prolific ones I've seen. You're a race, you're a sexist, you're a homophobic. Then when somebody doesn't agree with them, you need to get deported. I wish you got raped. I wish this happened to you. I wish you lose your baby. You see what I'm saying? Gaslighting at the highest level. Even at the mass media level, which is where it's galvanized and the message is kind of scaled to the masses. There's so much gaslighting that more gaslighting that I've ever seen in the mass media. It's been unbelievable. Calling the other side everything that they are. Fascism. Do you know what a fascist is? It's a person who looks, or the regime that looks to censor people, it looks to silence them. They cannot have a voice. If they disagree, then they should be banished or they should be punished or whatever it is. Like, that's fascism, but yet they call the other side the fascist. You see how that works? The little mustache man would have been very proud of the leftist movement. He would have been saluting them by the day, because they are right in alignment with his own beliefs. Next, we have entitlement. Yeah. Here we have procrastination and disregard. So a lot of them are, pretty lazy people. I'm not going to say that you have to be a leftist to be lazy. Many of us can be lazy at times or whatever, but they procrastinate because they have no sense of self. They have no sense of worth or value. They don't think they can actually get things done at a core level. They won't show that, but that's what's happening at the core. And so they will always push things forward, and and they'll disregard the things that should be taken care of, while trying to solve the world's problems, obviously. Next, we have avoidance of social gatherings. I ain't coming to Thanksgiving this year because you voted for Mr. Bad Man, Orange Man. Next, we have false innocence and shyness. This one is huge, huge. And I love the way they phrase that. False innocence and shyness. False innocence. I'm just a caring, loving individual who just wants the best for everybody, and I just want what's best, and I'm fighting for everybody's rights. But as soon as they show their fangs, they show their fangs for real. They feign it. It's a fake. It's a facade. It's a mechanism to get them what they want. And lastly, it's insecure, which is at the foundation, the baseline. They are deeply insecure. They feel they are nobodies, and essentially, they're looking for a source for their narcissistic supply. That's what they're always on the hunt for, just like any other narcissist. They're always perpetually looking for supply. And so if it comes through negative attention, if it comes through positive attention, they're going to be seeking it out. So that's our list right there. Y'all can, make sense of it as you will. You can watch this back a few times. But how do we deal with these people? It's simple. Let them the hell go. Okay? Trust me. If anybody's tried, I have tried to change these types of individuals, to show them the truth, to reveal the truth, etc. But in truth, the only time they will ever face themselves is when they're isolated, alone, and there's no more supply. And that may never happen. So you just got to let them be. If it means that they're completely out of your life and it's your child, your whoever it is, that's their decision that they made. They are worse than an individual in a cult, because it's a cult of self. You understand? In a cult, there's all these mechanisms, and you may use it as a means to cover up aspects. But, if you're somebody who is not narcissistic or bipolar or something of that nature within that cult, it's going to be a different experience for you. It's going to be a drastically different experience, because when you wake up, then you can see it for what it is. But these folks, they are the cult. Their belief and ideology, this thing that they've worn on themselves, is to simply cover up their deepest wounds. And so there's nothing you can do about it besides hold space. If they want to learn, if they want to whatever it is in good faith, beautiful, introduce it, hold space. If not, keep space. Simple as that. It sounds heartless, it sounds bitter, but it's the best thing that you can do for you and the ones that you actually love. If you are a sane, rational, non-demonic person, then this is going to be the way you want to go. So that being said, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Till the next time, I'm about to go stuff myself. About to go get some patties and goddamn eggs. I'm a simple man, and I'm out. Peace. I used to be afraid of the dark, a place unknown like a heart in their heart. I used to see my life in the bar. Now the kids unchained, every shackle is lost. 2 steps in the moonlight, 2 step in the daytime. You just know when it feel right. You got a feeling the time's not. See you through those shades that I just threw on. Through my lenses, you just can't do no wrong. I fell in love with myself again. I fell in love with myself. I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon. I fell in love with the night. I can see the light again. I can see the light. You can see the life in him illuminate the night. I know the time is taking. A 365, that's a